Feels like the morning to me. Good afternoon to everyone who's listening to us on Tenant Talk Tuesday. Again, I am one of your hosts, Renee Moya. I'm the campaign coordinator with the Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment, and I'm based here in Los Angeles. And of course, as ever, I'm joined by my fabulous co-host, Patricia. Patricia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for letting us in your wonderful homes today. I'm hoping everyone's having a great day. And I am Patricia Mendoza. I'm the statewide organizer, offline to online, and I am based in San Diego, California. Thank you. And go ahead, Renee.
Awesome. And then I'm actually going to ask Leah if she would like to introduce herself quickly. Oh, Leah, did we lose you? It seems like you're on mute and your camera's off. There you go.
Hey, so I'm Leah Simon-Weisberg. I'm the legal director and based in our Oakland office.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leah. And, today we're going to be having a kind of an important program. We're going to be talking about the rental assistance program. Again, I feel like we keep talking about it, obviously. But, I think it's important for us to get it down right and to make sure that tenants know what their rights are at this moment. But before we do that, actually, I wanted to start by asking something very basic. Patty, how's the weather doing in San Diego?
Well, you know what? It was ugly yesterday, but it's beautiful today. That's San Diego.
Great. That's great. Now, we had a ton of wind here in LA yesterday. It was very bizarre. Like all of a sudden, the Santa Anas came out of nowhere. It looked like it was going to rain all day. And then the wind came through and knocked a couple of the trees down in the neighborhood, which was not great. But it is what it is. It was actually, quite good. And Leah, how about you? How is it up you're in Oakland at the moment, correct?
Yeah, it is chilly. Big time chilly.
Yeah.
Sunny, but cold.
Right. No, it's been actually fairly chilly here too. So, I know that, we've been talking for a while about, rental assistance, the tenant protections, what rights tenants have, what rights tenants do not have at the moment. And, something big happened just like 10 days ago or so, 12 days ago. We didn't have a Tenant Talk Tuesday prior to October 1st. So maybe folks might not have recognized or seen what happened. And so, I don't know, I'm going to invite you, Leah, maybe to just talk to us very briefly about what happened on October 1st.
So on October 1st, for places across the state that don't have their own local moratoriums on eviction, the statewide eviction moratorium officially ended. But what's really important for folks to realize is that while technically the eviction moratorium ended, there are pieces of it that are, it's kind of like we now go into stage B or stage 2. So evictions can start again, but if you are being evicted because you have been struggling to pay your rent, if you apply for rental assistance, then that is a defense to an eviction, unless you've applied and been denied. And actually, it even goes a step further in that your landlord is not allowed to even file the eviction case against you. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to, and you really need to take action. No one should be like sitting back and saying, well, the landlord's doing the wrong thing and somehow the world will find out.
I think that's a really good point, that we oftentimes have. I think we forget, frankly, that unless you take that very basic action and not ignore, the messages coming from your landlord, that things will only get worse, right? Like just putting away the documents or the paperwork in a pile just is gonna make it worse over time. So I think it's important for people to remember, don't ignore that paperwork, especially if you get like a legal, eviction document, right? Like a summons and complaint, or otherwise known as unlawful detainer. Don't ignore those documents. Patty, I wanted to invite you and just ask you, you've been on the front lines, not only as a tenant that's been affected by this, but how have you seen tenants responding? I know that you're responding to people calling in our hotline all the time, right? People who are having questions about the rental assistance program and having problems with evictions. What is it that you're hearing from people who are calling and asking about this help?
Well, I think right now the main thing that we're hearing, or that I'm hearing, is where can I go? So, we do have a lot of people that are not computer savvy, and I have this, we have this, the Housing is Key has a number so where they can make an appointment for you in your area, that you can always call. But now they're saying the appointments are way too like until December or, till November. And what happens to these people meanwhile, like what happens to them? Is it going to be, do you know, Leah, like if they have an appointment, does that cover it? I mean, or do they actually have to have the application number?
You're on mute, Leah.
The way the law is written is that you need to have applied. You need to have an application pending. But your landlord has to have applied and it has to have been denied before they can start the part of it. So in some ways that is helpful. But I really want to encourage folks to try and do it themselves, because even though obviously it would be fantastic to be able to go through the process with someone who really knows how to do it, in many ways, this application is more about just being patient and doing it and just trying to find someone who knows how to go on a computer so people could go to their local library. A lot of libraries have reopened. Your neighbor, somebody, connected to maybe where you go to for religious things. I mean, I really want to encourage people not to just wait for those 2 months, but I think people should get on. It technically isn't enough. Put yourself in the queue and maybe the queue goes faster. But I think most important is to just make an effort, if have your kids try and help you. But it's like question after question and then uploading it. Now, I'm not saying that is easy, but a lot of it is just having the patience to do it.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Yes, it really is, because you don't want to wait till the end. We don't want these. Go ask a friend. Go ask your neighbor. Go ask your teenage son or daughter. Somebody that might be a little bit more computer savvy than you, because it's really, it's really not that hard. But for some people, that are not computer savvy, it could be. But right. The good thing, Renee, is that I'm hearing a lot too, Leah, is these apartment complex managers calling to get the help for their tenants. And that was one good thing. Like this was just like yesterday and on Friday, I got these calls and I was really happy because I'm like, okay, now we're working together. Now we're getting somewhere, they get their money. The tenants are still protected. So that's a wonderful thing,
Got it. I think that's kind of a change from what we saw a few months ago, right? I think, well, hopefully, hope springs eternal. Maybe a number of property managers and landlords are starting to realize that unless that they apply and get this money, it's going to be money lost for them, right? And a lot of people don't want to actually go through the legal process to do that. Hopefully, the concern that we have for the most part is that renters be protected, right? And so it's going to be crucial for us to give us that fix. I do know though, Patty, generally that we've been seeing just like a stream, right, of emails coming in, of calls coming in about the rental assistance program. Leah, you've said yourself that basically as long as you apply to the program, you should be protected. So maybe we should talk about that now, right? We should talk about what it is that we need to do to apply for the program. What we're going to actually do in a second is we're going to actually share the website for Housing is Key, which is the statewide website where you can actually jump on and apply for the rental assistance. We're going to walk through that. But before we do, I just want to ask, or let you, the viewers, know whether you're watching us on Facebook, whether you're watching us on YouTube, or whether you're watching us on Twitter, because we are now on all of these platforms at the same time. Make sure to leave comments if you'd like. Send us some questions, and we'd be very, very happy to answer the questions at the end of the program, of the live stream. Without further ado, I just saw that we just got a really lovely comment from Sharina on Facebook saying, hello, beautiful people. Good afternoon to you too, Sharina. Thank you so much for your lovely comment. So without further ado, let's start by reminding folks about something very important, right? What website do we need to go to if we're applying for rental assistance? Patty, where do we go? What website do we go to?
We go to housingiskey.com. And
Let's say that again. Go on.
If we can put it on the comments, or if we can put it somewhere where people can just see it, housingiskey.com.
That's right. Housingiskey.com. And so what do we see whenever we go to housingiskey.com? And in fact, I just dropped it in the chat. I think you could see that I just dropped it on Facebook, on YouTube, etc. I'm going to share my screen though now, so I can show y'all exactly what you need to do, so that we know where we need to go. Can you all see my screen now?
No.
How about now? Can you see it, Patty?
No.
Oh, I see. I have to actually choose an actual window. So give me 1 second. Sorry, folks. We are trying to figure this technology out. It's the first time we've used this new system. All right. Can you see it now?
Yes. Fantastic.
Perfect. Yeah. All right, folks. So here we have the website that you go to when you type in housingiskey.com on your browser, right? So let's say you're on your phone or you're on your laptop, on your desktop. You go and you type in housingiskey.com, and it automatically sends you to this thing. You see the link? It says housing.ca.gov at the top. That's the same thing. It's the same website as housingiskey.com. So now we're here. Where do we go now? If we actually look under rental assistance, you're going to see that there are many different buttons in different languages, right? And so, which is great. We know that tenants in California speak a myriad or many types of different languages, right? And so, for example, I'm a native bilingual English and Spanish speaker. It's good to know that I can apply in Spanish if need be. Other very important thing that you see automatically under the rental assistance, you see in English, it says California COVID-19 rent relief, and then it has a phone number. Apply now, 833-430-2122. Leah, can you tell me why there's that phone number on that button there before we continue?
It's in case people need assistance applying. You can call that number to get help, but it generally it'll kind of try and get you to a local organization.
That's right. And so, Patty, I know that we have like tenants that we sometimes call who are not very tech savvy, who are not very computer savvy, right? This is good because they can actually call us on a phone number, or rather call the rental assistance line on the number, and then talk to someone live. Is that correct?
That's correct. They can always call that number that's on there. The 2122 is for general questions and to ask the status of their application. And then we have the other number, which is the 833-687-0967. And that one is to make an appointment near your area to get help with the application.
Awesome. All right, let's just move right along. Now, let's say I do have a laptop or a computer, and so I'm going to click on California COVID-19 rent relief. And then this is the first page that we see, right? Need help with unpaid rent or utilities. It says the California Rent Relief Program provides financial assistance for rent and utilities to income-eligible renters and their landlords who have been impacted by COVID-19. This is crucial, right? Both renters and landlords can apply for assistance. So if you're a tenant who is currently, it has a lot of rent debt, you can apply. But if you are a landlord and you want to apply for rental assistance, you can do that too. And what is this thing about income eligible renters, Leah? Can you just briefly, talk to us about what that means?
Yeah. So this whole program and also the protections that come from it are only for tenants who are considered low income, which means that you make less than 80% of the area median income. Okay. So that is, and I'm going to say that it's about $100,000 for like a family of 4 in most of the urban parts of our state. It may be a little bit lower, but it's around 70,000 for a single person in the urban areas. So you have to make quite a bit. And so it seems pretty unlikely that if you were struggling to pay your rent, over the last 12 months, that you don't qualify. So folks should really just apply. You'll have to put in your income. So it's not like you'll accidentally apply when you didn't want to. It'll reject you if that's the basis. And as long as what you're doing is truthful, don't worry about what information you're providing.
That's a really, really good point, right? Basically, if you're struggling to pay your rent, the chances are you qualify for this program. But a really quick clarification though, Leah, I'm wondering this. Let's say you made a lot of money before the pandemic. Let's say you made $120,000 a year, let's just say, right? And then suddenly you lost your job. So you have a $0 income, or let's say you got your wages cut and you only make a third of what you made before. Will you still qualify? Will you be considered income eligible then?
Yeah, and I think again you need to just be honest. When you go to answer the questions, it's set up to make that distinction, and it's not just limited to what you made on your taxes a year ago, because they know that this is a situation. And for a lot of folks who maybe had to get government assistance in the past, it was much more restrictive. This is really understanding that we were all many people were doing fine. And then there was a crisis, right? So they understand that you may have last year made that amount. Now, if you, lost your job, but you have millions and millions and millions in your bank account, then you won't qualify.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, but just make sure you're honest in the application.
That's a really, really fundamental point. Just tell the truth, right? So let's just jump in. Let's say we hit apply now, right? Let's see what happens next. I'm actually very curious here. I haven't applied for rental assistance, so I want to check. Oh, cool. We get this really nice little program right now. Okay. Right at the top, it says find address or place. So I want to ask, which one of the two of you wants to provide an address that we can go through?
So Renee, you need to switch to the window you've just jumped to, because we still see the apply now.
Got it.
Page.
Give me 1 second. So I'm going to stop sharing that page, and then I'm going to share this new tab. And I'm sorry, folks, I'm also a little bit sick right now, so I'm sorry if you can hear my voice a little bunged up. I'm going to try not to sneeze while I'm on the live stream today, but things happen. Let's see, find out which. Okay, so we got the new screen. Can you actually see that on the screen now?
Perfect.
All right. So what address should we type in here?
Put 641 East Yale in Fresno.
641 East Yale.
Fresno, California.
Avenue, Fresno, California. Okay. Typing that in. No features found that meet search criteria. Oh, there you go. I pressed enter, and now we got the address. So it says here that when we apply, we're going to be applying to a local jurisdiction. What does that mean exactly?
So at the beginning of this process, each jurisdiction could decide whether they were going to run the program themselves or ask the state to provide it. So it looks like in Fresno, they decided to run their own program. So there should be a link to the local program. So you'll just want to click. That's why this is such a great place to start, is that even if you actually don't go through the state program, it'll help you get to that correct website. And if you apply to even your local program, you'll still have those same protections.
That's a great point. So just to reiterate for everyone who's watching us today, it doesn't matter what part of the state you're in and you're looking for rental assistance, start with housingiskey.com and it will point you in the direction that you need to go. Patty, do you want to say anything about that and your experience about how tenants have managed this part of the process?
No, I think the application has gotten easier. When you're looking for the help, you just put your zip code and you view. I think it's gotten easier for a lot more people. So I think it's good.
Awesome. All right. Better. Now, so what's the next thing I do? It says view here, right? Link to program and application. I'm going to hit that right now. And then can you see the screen yet? No, actually, we have to share the new one. So give me 1 second. I don't like the fact that this application opens new tabs for every step of the process. It complicates my life. So let me open up the new tab right now. Bear with me, folks. ERA application. All right. Do we see it there?
Yes.
Great. Awesome. All right. So Leah, do you want to guide us through? What do I do here?
So I think you want to, you just want to read the question. So you, assuming that the folks on here are tenants, you want to go to that tenant application and fill out that questionnaire. So do you live in Fresno? So you want to click on that.
Mm-hmm. I chose yes.
Okay. And then you just want to move to the next question.
Did you lose income? Let's say that we did, right? And how much income? Is it specified how much exactly you had to have lost in income, or is it any amount?
It's any amount.
Okay. So let's say I lost $10,000 worth of annual income. I'm going to say yes.
Correct.
Are you past due for rent, utilities, or in need of assistance through September 30th, 2021? I'm going to say yes. You know, a lot of us were struggling to pay the rent over the last year, so I'm going to put yes. How many people are you supporting? What number should I put for that, Leah, just for you know?
Why don't we say 4?
Okay, let's do a family of 4. And how much income is this theoretical family making or doing?
Let's put in 85,000.
85,000. All right, submit. Apparently, we do not meet the requirements at this time. It's probably because in Fresno, that's quite a high family income, right? Household income.
Yeah, let's put in 50,000.
All right. So let's say you're making $50,000, family of 4 in the city of Fresno, which does have a lower household income than, let's say, San Francisco or LA. I'm going to put submit. Eligibility has been confirmed. All right. So now it's asking me, it says, please read, complete the application fully before uploading documents. You will then be provided a link to upload your documents. So what are the things that they're asking for, or the documents that they're offering here, right? What is it asking for here? It's saying, oh, go on, Leah.
No, I'm just trying to make the screen a little bit bigger.
Oh, you got it.
So, and just so everybody knows, this is a different website than the state website. So this is just a local website, and it's only Fresno's, and it's not the same as other counties. So if you're in San Diego, is another place where the state is not doing it. It's the county. And so they have a different website. But the requirements are still somewhat similar because this is all money coming from the federal government. Okay.
Got it. So we're walking through basically what is a local program right now. For all the viewers, we're showing you what it looks like when you apply to a specific local program right now. But then after this, Leah, we're going to try to run through what applying to the state program looks like, correct?
Right.
All right.
This list, I mean, I'm really looking at this and together with everybody. But I think this is a list of the things that they think you're going to need at some point. But let's start the application because we haven't started it yet. And I think that, you know, a lot of this is just reading comprehension. So Here we've got the name, you know, this is your basic information.
Should I put my information, Leah, or what should we do here?
Sure. I would change it up a little bit, maybe.
What email should we use?
You can use your, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to put in a phone number. What is it, the ones that they normally use on films? 550-1122 or something?
Yeah.
What was the address that you selected?
It was 641.
641.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. East.
Yeah.
And then Yale Street, was it?
The Avenue.
Avenue. Great. Fresno. And what was the zip code? Do we remember?
93704.
04. All right. All right. So then it starts asking me all this kind of basic information, right? Like I have to be able to give my application name. So what is my full name? I type in my name. So let's say for this, I'm going to say that my name is Christian Bowser, like the character in the Mario games. I type in an address, whatever it might be. You know, I fill in all of these details. And then it says here, I understand that my identity must be verified by a picture ID in order to participate in this program. And it says upload ID. So that's, I guess, what we were talking about earlier, right? Leah, basically, you take a picture of your ID and then you upload it onto the system. That's the way that you're provided that documentation, right?
Right. So why don't you click on it and let's see if you can show us how one uploads, if that. So
Yeah.
See how it says chooses a file. So that means that it wants you to already have it saved on your computer.
Yep. So that's the only way apparently you can do it directly on the application. We don't know how it looks like on your phone, right? There might be another option for mobile, but at least from what we can tell here for the Fresno City application for rental relief, you have to have it saved on your computer, the picture, to be able to upload it, right? So suppose that you did that, then you would hit submit, right? I don't think it's going to let me do it unless I attest to some of this information. So 641 East Yale Avenue, Fresno, California, 93704. Got it. And then we're just going to put my email for work right here. 323-550-1122. And then it seems I can move on. I'm gonna say that I understand my identity will be submitted. Oh, apparently they do require all this other information. Let's say I was born on, I can't be in October 2021. That would make me way too young. Let's say March 2nd, 1980, which is actually a little bit older than I am. So I'm going to put that I'm a male. I'm going to put that I am Hispanic or Latino. I'm going to say that I am multiple categories, or I'm going to put decline to state. And I'm going to say no, that I'm not a member of a tribe. I guess I'll just leave that there. Okay, now it's asking me for family information, right? The number of individuals in the household. So I'll just put in my name. My cat's name is Misha. So I'm going to put in Misha for now. He's my family. How old is he? He's 7 years old. I believe he was born in September. So I'm just going to put September 1st. I'm sorry, Misha, that I don't remember when you were born exactly. And I'll say he was born in 2015. Okay. Who else should I put in? What other name should I put in, folks? Could you help me here? Oh, Aries is the name of my dog. So I'll just put in his name here. I'm saying a lot about my animals here. So folks, if you want to have me post a picture of my animals at some point, I'm very happy to do that.
So you need one more adult to match what you were saying on.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what who should I put in? Chula. Muy bien. What age? So she's 21 years old. For the sake of it, we'll say she was born in 2000. Oh, not the year 20,000. All right. So let's say we submit that. Now it's saying Section 3, family income and eligibility, right? Did one or more individuals in the household qualify for the following programs? And then it gives me a list of programs, right? So are one of you folks, if you're eligible for Medi-Cal, for WIC, for SNAP, for FDPIR, for TANF, let's say, should I choose any of these right now, Leah, or should I just continue?
Well, I'm just wondering if we shouldn't pause and switch over to a state program, because we only have about 15 minutes left. And I'm just concerned that this is, I think that it is similar things of asking questions, moving, knowing how to upload, and just but it is a lot of information. Sometimes it is like the same thing over and over. As you see that, you had to put in your name 3 different times. You're having to put your family members in several times. That's one suggestion, but open to whatever you think.
I think that's a great idea, but I do want to just quickly show people kind of what are the other sections that the City of Fresno Rent Relief Program is asking for. So we put in some basic identification information for the tenant who's applying at the top. Then we filled in the information of the other members of the household that we mentioned at the very beginning that we have, right? The 4 people. Then we're here putting in information about family income and eligibility. Remember that at different stages, there's this little section that says upload where you can put in the documents to prove what you're saying, right? And then there are other information that you should put in there, right? Section 4 basically is where you put in how you were impacted by COVID-19. Section 5 is the tenant rental obligation information. So I think that's basically asking us how much money you have to pay in rent, right? The next section, Section 6, is about utilities. So how much money do you pay for utilities if you're asking for utility assistance? We should remember, right, Leah, that the program isn't just about rental assistance, it's also for utilities.
Correct.
And then the payment information is Section 8, tenant payment information. I assume that that's where we put in the information so that the state program, or the city program in this case, can pay you, right, to pay your rent. So I think that's where that information is included. Then it says confirm submission. Then you're going to go through an overview. And then after that, you submit the full application, though you have to make sure to upload your documents all the way through. That sounds pretty straightforward, even if it is a multi-step process, right, folks? And Patty, what do you think about this, just looking at this application for our tenants in Fresno?
I think it's pretty, self-explanatory. It's just, just fill it out. Just fill it out. We can't stress that enough, right, Leah? Just fill it out. If you really need the help is there. What's the worst that they can say is no? And then you can even attest that. You can even, find out why maybe you left out a piece of paper, maybe, but what's the worst thing they can say is no? Just
That's right.
One thing I would just remind folks is that you really want to make sure that it's helpful if you've already downloaded those documents, that you have them available. The state program, you actually have an identity, like you actually get, you sign in, so you'll be able to hold it. This one doesn't seem to have that. So it sounds like it's probably best if you can sit and do it, because I'm not sure what's going to happen if we click out of this, right? You won't have a way of getting back. I also just want to really note, just so you can see right now at the top of the screen, it says, I attest that the information provided is true. So you're agreeing that all of this is true, but also if there's documents they're asking for and you don't have it, you still have the ability to say, look, I just promise this is true.
That's right.
So that is, I think eventually if it turns out none of it's true, it is, you can get in a lot of trouble for lying, but as long as it's true, you're okay. The other thing is that if, for example, your landlord refuses to participate, they can give you the rent to then give the landlord and to pay. But you only have 15 days to make that transfer. So if people just keep that money or use it for something else, there are some serious consequences to that.
Right. Well, I think, we saw a comment earlier. I'm going to put it up again. We saw from Daniela Wild in Facebook. She's basically saying we should go through the state application. So without much further ado, let's just do that. I'm going to stop sharing our Fresno application right now. So let's leave that page. And then I'm going to bring up the rental assistance program for the state in a bit. Actually, Leah, do you want to give me an address to plug in?
For the state application, I was going to give you the address for the Richmond ordinance, for the rent board.
Oh, okay.
Which I was looking up. Hang on 1 second.
Renee, I did read a message on here. It says if you can make the screen a little bigger.
We can try to do that by taking us out of the image, and we'll do that next, Patty, when we bring up the state program list. But Leah, do you want to give me that address?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is 440.
Okay.
Civic Center Plaza.
Civic Center Plaza.
Suite 200.
Oh, I actually just says, is it 94804?
It is.
All right, let's just put that in. And this says, wow, unsurprisingly, we're going to be linked to the state program. So I'm going to open that up, and then I'm going to share my screen right now. Let's do that right now. Share screen. Sorry, folks. I should probably get that set up really quickly. StreamYard, are you a landlord or tenant? All right, great. So now we have the tenant, the Housing is Key state program is now loaded on here. So we're going to do the same thing, right, Leah? I'm going to put that I'm a tenant, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'm a tenant. And then it asks me a question that if I'm a member of any of these tribes, right? I'm going to say no, but if you are a member of one of those tribes, you should obviously hit yes. But I'm going to say no, I'm not a member of any of these tribes. And then it's asking me, what is my household income at, right? So what county are we in that we're looking at? Is it Contra Costa?
Contra Costa. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Contra Costa County, COCO, as we like to call it for short. And how many household members do we have in this hypothetical household?
Let's do 4 again.
All right, great. So let's do 4. The income limit is $109,000. People in Contra Costa are apparently doing fairly well for themselves, huh? So $109,000 is the 80% threshold for area median income. I'm going to say that that it's under this, right? Let's say that our household income is $108,000. So I'm going to say yes. And then it says you qualify for the California Rental Assistance Program. Woohoo! So that means, again, I've been struggling to pay my rent. Now I'm going to apply for the application. So I'm going to switch my screen over to the new page right now. So hold, please, folks, as I do that. And I'm sorry that we're kind of switching between things all the time, but that is the nature of this technology. Here you go, California Rent Relief. All right, can we see this page here?
Yes.
All right, now what do I do here? It says that I have to either sign in or register. I assume that I should register, correct?
Yeah, you should register. And I think often this is the piece that people get stuck at because it's just frustrating and it's another step. But, let's do it. Let's see how easy it is to register.
All right, I'm going to click register, and then I'm going to put an email address. I'm going to, again, put in my work email address, calorganize.org. I'm going to re-enter that again, rcmoya@calorganize.org. I'm going to say my name is, again, Christian. My last name is, let's call myself Bowser again, like the Mario baddie. I'm going to type in a password. What password should I put? I'm going to say Misha is cute. That's my animal. So Misha is a cute cat. 111. Oh, shoot. That's hold on, folks. What password should I put in here, folks? Let me
just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, and then 11. Okay.
Oh, you need an uppercase letter.
Yeah, it's a very complicated thing here. So you know what I'm going to do? I know what I'm going to do, Leah. Give me 1 second. I actually have a fancy schmancy password generator. I'm just going to type that in right now.
Mm.
Oh, okay, that and then that. I'm going to save that.
So I just want to recommend to folks that when you put in your password, put it on something and tape it to your computer or your wall or your fridge because you're going to have to come back to that.
So it says I'm going to receive an email, right, to continue the application process. I'm going to, on my back end, I'm just logging in right now. I'm going to do that right now. Okay, I've confirmed my email address. So we're going to go back to sign in, right? So I've already confirmed my email. I'm going to now do sign in here. And my details are already saved because I have a password manager, which is great. And then I'm going to put sign in. Wow. Okay, now I'm in this program. Good afternoon, Christian. So it seems that there are 2 bits here, right? I can choose between right here, tenant rent utility assistance, and then landlord rental assistance. So that's interesting, right? So the landlord can apply for rental assistance only on the bottom option, but again, you as a tenant can apply for rental assistance and for utility assistance, right? All right, so I'm going to choose click here to start new application for the tenant application, right? Do that. And then it says provide a full name for the application. I'm going to say, again, my name is Christian Bowser. I'm going to start this application. All right. So it says here, tenant rent and utility assistance application. Click here to continue, right? Mm-hmm. And it also gives me that number again that you mentioned earlier, Patty, that the 833-430-2122. Can you remind us again what the point of that number is?
Yeah, the 2122 is actually for checking the status of your application and, wanting actually it's just checking the status and asking for general questions. Got it.
So it's a good way for us to be able to call and get that information. So let's say again, I'm going to click here to continue. And now it says what help is available. If you owe rent, we can help. If you cannot pay your rent or are concerned about paying next month's rent, we can help. We can also help with utility bills that you owe now or that you have not paid. And then it says who qualifies for help. California only, obviously, right? We're only in the state of California. Income qualified if you experience financial hardship. Have you been affected by COVID-19? All of the stuff that we've already kind of talked about, right? And then it gives, so all of this is just information, right? It tells you what the application looks like. Fill out the application to the best of your ability. The state of California will notify your landlord that the rent relief process is underway. And then it says that they're going to assign you a case manager, right? And then it gives you some tips for what you can do to speed up the process, the rental application process, what you should expect. It gives you a phone number too for what you should do to be able to talk to someone. Gives you some bits of information about fair housing. And then, just gives you a lot of information, basically, the next page, right? So we can kind of glide over this and just go to, this is the cool bit here, actually, Leah. It gives us the option to save the application, right? So if we stop at any point along the way, we can come back to it, right?
Exactly.
All right. So I'm going to put complete and continue. Now it's asking me for eligibility. Are you seeking rent assistance for your primary residence located in California? I'm going to say yes, right? That's where my house is. And then it says, please identify your county of residence in the following table. So this application does look a little bit more complicated than the local one, the Fresno one, right? But it's a lot of reading that you have to do. I'm going to do it for Contra Costa County. That's, I believe, the county that we're applying for. And then it says, identify your county, and then make sure that the number of people in your household is below that limit, right, that we mentioned earlier. So we already said that our household income for 4 is below $109,000. So I'm going to say yes, and it tells me to continue to the next question, right? And then it says some cities and counties are operating their own local rent program. If your city or county is not listed below, continue to the next question. And then it gives me all these options. I don't have to click on any of these, right, Leah? Because the address that we gave at the beginning is not in one of these cities or counties, right?
Correct. But I guess I'm curious, though, if you can, I don't see any list. Do you see a list? Oh,
yes. So when I do the drop down, do you see it there or not?
I don't know.
Okay. Unfortunately for the viewers here, you can't see the list. But when I click the little drop down, and you'll all see it, you're going to be able to see the drop-down list of all of the cities and counties. Folks, I'm very sorry. We keep on getting comments about making the screen larger. Right now, what you see here is as big as we can do it. I've, in fact, made Patty and Leah and myself disappear so you can see the full screen. So this is as much as we can show right now. I'm very sorry. All right. The next question, A3, we're going to leave blank, right? Basically, or it says, no, I do not live in any of these jurisdictions. Do you see that now, Leah? I selected that I don't live in any of the cities or counties that were listed. And then it talks about tribes, and it gives me a drop-down list with tribes. I'm going to select that I'm not a member of a tribal community, and then continue. All right. Now I got some information, kind of like with the last one, right, Leah? It says tenant first name. It's basic information about us, right? So I'm going to type in my information. I'm not going to type out the whole address right now. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. For B3. B4, it's interesting. It asks you what county you're in. It asks you again. I'm going to put Contra Costa County. And then it asks you what kind of property you live in. This is kind of complex, right? Like, I don't know if you could see this, Leah, but there's a drop-down menu. Can you see that as well or not?
I can see that they have a drop-down menu, but I can't see what's on it.
Yeah, so it basically asks you, are you living in a single-family home? Are you living in a duplex? Are you living in an apartment complex? And what size of an apartment complex, whether you live in a mobile home, a motor home, a granny flat, a garage conversion, a bedroom in a unit, a hotel, if you're homeless. It gives you all these different options. So I'm going to say I live, because I do actually live in an apartment complex that's below 50 units. So I'm going to say I live in an apartment complex of 11 to 50 units. And then it asks if I'm homeless, right? I'm going to say that I'm not homeless right now. The next question says, I have a rental agreement with the property manager. So I have a contract, right? So I'm going to say that, yes, I have a rental agreement. But it also gives us an opportunity or an option to select if I'm a sublessor, right? If I'm on a sublease with the tenant.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, though, that you do not need a written rental agreement on that. And you don't, if there have been issues where people have been asking tenants to provide the written agreement, and you do not have to do that.
That is super, super important, right? Okay, I'm going to say that I have a rental agreement. I'm going to pretend as though my rental agreement is only verbal, right? Or that it hasn't been renewed in a while. Let's use that as an example too, right? Mailing address. Again, you would fill out your mailing address, your phone number, all of this information. This is the part that's really interesting. They also give us an ability to identify a representative, right? So it could be someone, let's say an organization that you're working with, like a nonprofit who's helping you apply. You can include that information in there so that, the state program can talk to that person too, because they're helping you with the application. So that's super, super important. And then it says, please choose a preferred method of payment, right? Whether you want to get a bank transfer or a check. That's for how, you will get paid by the state program. So that's important. So let's say I put save on the little bit of information that I've done right now. I'm wondering, can I continue on to the rest of the application? And it seems like I can. That's great. So I can actually see the other bits of the application that I've haven't filled out yet. So this one, for example, section C, it's asking for COVID impact. Has anyone in the household experienced financial hardship? I think a lot of people, right, have been suffering from COVID hardship. So I'm going to say yes, financially. And then it gives you a list of reasons why you've been impacted. So let's say, it give me a lot of options. I'm going to say that I got a reduction in hours of work, right? I used to work 40 hours of work. Now I only work 30 hours of work. So that reduces my income too. I'm going to put reduction in hours of work. But it also says if none of the above apply at the bottom, do you see this? If none of the above apply, please provide a description below of you or a household member's reduction in household income. So in other words, if one of the reasons above the list, they don't apply to you, but you know that you still have been impacted financially, you can type out the reason in that box. And then, of course, as everything has been asking throughout the application at the local level and the statewide one, you should attest that the above is true, right? So you do that. So you're going to click save. Anyhow, once you've been saving that information, again, we go section by section. It's actually asking, rent assistance request, complete the amount that you owe for each month of housing, right? So are you requesting rental assistance? We're going to put yes. And then we have to put in a lot of information here. And I know this is where it gets a little bit complicated, right? This bit is interesting. We should basically put in how much money that we owe for rent. So let's say right now, unfortunately, my family and I, we're paying a lot of money in rent. So I'm going to put in my rent per month is about $2,900 a month for our apartment. I'm going to type that information in. And then it gives me the option to type out how much money I owe per month. Right? So you will fill out that information and then, so it'll calculate how much money you owe in total. And if you could see this in the application, it lets you fill it out all the way to December of this year. Why doesn't it let us see or fill out the information for the rest of the year, Leah? If you can help us with that.
Well, because I think because they're just not accepting them yet, there's really no, I think that they are expecting that it will happen in the future. So they're only giving money out for 2 months in advance.
Got it. So again, once you fill out how much money you owe per month, you're going to fill out the information for the landlord. That's always very important. So they know who it is that the money is going to be eventually going to, right? And then, of course, if you go through the rest of the application, since we're already running out of time, folks, I will have to proceed. I just want to show kind of what the other bits of the application look like. Have you received?
Can I just step in with something, though? What I think is important is, folks, there's no reason to wait. It's not like you apply now, and if you somehow lose out on being able to ask for it in the future, if your situation continues, our understanding is that, as everyone gets up to 18 months, and so you'll just apply again in the future.
That's a really good point, Leah. And, we're going to have to wrap up in a minute, but I do just want to show some of these other sections of the application. It's asking, for example, if you've received prior assistance. That includes Section 8 vouchers, by the way, folks. Rapid rehousing, homelessness prevention, or other forms of coronavirus rental assistance. So if you received other types of it, you put in whether you have or not. And I assume that if you put yes, it's going to ask you. Yep, it does. It asks you for what other kind of assistance you received. So that's going to be important for you to fill out. If you're asking for, utilities assistance, you can actually fill this out here too. And it gives you the option to do it for water and for gas. So obviously it doesn't let you pay your Spectrum bills. If you're paying a lot of money on the internet and TV, this is not going to apply for that, but this is for your water and for your gas. You could also, though, apply to trash and sewage assistance. That's super helpful because I know that the sewage assistance sometimes can get pretty high at times. So this is a really good thing for the state to be helping people with. You do also have the opportunity to pay for electricity and other types of assistance. So yeah, electrical utilities. So if you're paying your water and power, right, that lets you do that. And then it asks actually, so this is quite cool. If you've been missing other payments, it actually gives you the option to be able to apply for them. It says if your mobile phone is the only source of internet for your household, a portion of your mobile plan may be eligible. So that's great, Leah, right? Basically, and maybe Patty, I don't know if we had noticed this before. It lets you apply for things like your mobile phone and your internet as well.
I think it's, there are some really great things about how this program works. It is a really long application, but it is, there are a lot of great pieces to it. And hopefully folks can stay motivated to keep on filling it out.
Absolutely.
Because it really helps.
That's right. The last couple of things that it's asking for, by the way, is household members. So if there are other people who rent with you or live with you, especially if they've been affected, it's good to fill that information out here. Then you're going to fill out your income section, right? It asks you for different ways that you can talk about it. This is crucial because it actually says you can put in your tax information. You can say that you've participated in other income qualified programs, right? Such as federal assistance, right? Like maybe something from HUD, like Section 8. For example, it says I'm a resident of subsidized housing. That's a different Section 8 is included in this section. And then it says I will certify income for each household member. So that says you can put in a pay stubs. If you have no income, for example, you can basically certify for that. So basically, Leah, it seems like this allows you to certify that you're not receiving certain bits of income, correct?
Correct.
That's great. So again, folks, if you're worried about how much documentation you have to prove for things, this is important for our undocumented community in particular. Look, it gives you different options to be able to certify. So don't just fear applying because of that. The final section that it gives us here, by the way, folks, as you can see, is, uploading documents, right? And so it says here that if you certified your household income and not provide income documentation because you claimed cash income or zero income, you would say yes, right? If you did that, and then you kind of apply for different things. If you put no, right? It says to verify rent owed, please complete the following, and then you have different options for that. And then at the end, it lets you upload files. So people can do it one of different ways. People can basically apply through the whole application, right? And then come back and upload all of their documents, but they should hit save, right? Always click save after every section, and then come back to this final bit, supporting paperwork K, and upload all the files. Upload whatever documents you think are going to show your income, your contract, are going to show that you've lost your job, whatever it might be. This is where you all dump it in, right?
Right.
And then finally, you hit the last section that I can't do right now because I haven't filled this out is supporting paperwork. Is to submit. Can I also just point out one thing for viewers? It says print application. When you have finalized the application, I would strongly suggest people, if they can, to save it to their computer or to print the application, right, Leah? Because it's always good to have evidence that you've applied.
Right. The other thing is you can also get a printed copy of a blank version if someone just feels like I cannot do this. I need just a paper copy to fill out.
Yep, that's important. That's absolutely important. And Leah, why is it important too for us that we're sending the application or saving the application? Because we at ACE, what have we been telling people to do with their landlords? I don't know, Patty, if maybe you want to take this a response to this, but after tenants apply, what are we asking tenants to do? What should they be telling their landlord?
You need to let your landlords know that you have a pending application, and it's particularly important if you receive a 3-day notice to pay or quit. You have 15 days to notify your landlord that you have a pending application, because if you don't, then they can go forward and evict you.
That's right. And Patty, this is something we've been sharing with a lot of our tenants, right?
Yes, write a letter to your landlord, letting them know that you have an application pending. Maybe let them put the application number, mail it, just make sure somebody sees it, that you're a witness over the age of 18 sees that you're either giving it to him or you mail it through the U.S. Post Office. Yes, very important.
Absolutely. Folks, we have to wrap this up, unfortunately, because we're actually about to do Tenant Talk Tuesday in Spanish, Martes de Inquilinos, for those of you who speak and prefer to speak in Spanish. And it's going to be the same team. It's going to be me, Patty, and Leah. Again, thank you so much for walking through this with us today, Leah and Patty. I hope this was very useful to all of you folks. We got to see the application and how difficult it is to apply to it. So yeah, I'm just really hopeful that folks found it useful. If you need more information, please drop it in the chat and we'll be able to help you folks respond to things. Janela, I think I'm hoping I'm responding to your name correctly. Yes, it lasts up to 18 months, the application. So yes, absolutely. Apply for that as much as possible. And Deb, thank you so much. We're happy that this was extremely informative. We hope all of you folks are going to be able to share this information along. And remember, this whole thing is going to be saved on our Facebook page, on our Twitter, and on our YouTube. So if you didn't see the whole recording, or if you want to share it with someone, come back to Facebook and you should be able to see our live stream today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Patty and Leah, I don't know if you want to say goodbye before we jump off.
I just think that this is really important. And Renee, thank you for walking us through this. I thought you did it in a very effective way.
Thank you so much. All right, ciao, folks.
Thank you. And go fill out your application. Go get money. Go
That's
get your
right.
money. Go get your rent paid.
Get that money, folks.
That's right.